February 19th, 6:32. CLC is coming to order. We've got the agenda that's been distributed, minutes from last month have been distributed. We can take a look at those minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to review those. And we would entertain any corrections, revisions. Anybody have anything? Seems pretty comprehensive.
Thank you, Dave.
As always, Dave.
Yes.
If there are no corrections, take a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I move we accept the minutes as written.
And a second.
Jerry seconds.
Jerry seconds. All in favor? I'll go around. Steve.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Jared.
Aye.
Mark.
I don't get a vote.
Yeah, you just present.
Aye.
Tammy. Leon.
Aye.
Thank you very much. It's unanimous. All right. Retire that and move back on. Quite a number of little items tonight, I guess. But one, Mark brought to my attention. Week or so ago. See if we can get that. Up. Let's try that. Regarding oars, the organization or Assabet and Sudbury and what's R? Concord? Oars, I don't get it. I'll let that pass. It's written down here.
Organization for the Assabet River.
Yes. Sort of.
And then they added S for Sudbury. And then they said Three Rivers when they added Concord.
Got it. All right. So this is for training sessions. We talked about this last time, and there are training sessions in April 11th. I sent this out to everyone, I think, just before the meeting, so everybody can have an email of this, just copying what Mark sent to me, and maybe get some participation, some volunteer action for oars. Mark, did you want to say anything else about that?
It was just sent to me from the Conservation Board that there's a training.
That's great.
Is the idea that we would be doing this testing at Beaver Brook, like as coming out of the lawsuit?
ORS is interested in having collaborators and volunteers to help with the monitoring.
On the ground here in Littleton.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. And when we talked to them a month ago, they said that you could sign up, but the dates that show up in the sign up page are not going to be the actual dates. And if you sign up, then presumably they would send you the actual dates when they get determined. I don't know whether it's been updated now and whether the ones that are there are current or not.
Right. I believe this is current. This is Saturday, April 11th and Wednesday, April 15th. But again, copied on that. So
And I thought the scope of it for Littleton at least was Reedy Brook that comes out of very fine area. That was it. We weren't going to be doing all the lakes or.
No, I don't think they would.
I don't think ours is going to be.
I don't know. I don't know that. It wasn't specific. I mean, Reedy Brook feeds into Mill Pond, which feeds into Beaver Brook. And so it would be of quite a bit of interest as to how far down, their nutrients go.
So like I would be interested in doing something within Littleton. I'm not interested in going down to Maynard and doing any testing. So as long as we could keep it local, I would be happy to do it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing that comes out of Patriot goes to Maynard. I mean, or
He just means like, if we do this training, like, are we gonna be expected to show up at Maynard and test their water? We wanna do it in Littleton.
Thank you.
yeah, it's up to us. Yeah.
Okay.
And Abby was interested in having a Zoom call with us sometime the next month or two to sort of collaborate on this.
Abby McCarthy.
Yeah.
Getting some weird feedback here. I'm sure it's me.
Yeah, it sounds like
Very
it's
hourly.
picking up.
You have more than one thing open?
No, I don't, my speaker here, it's all shut down.
Oh, so if you go on the 11th, you can do water quality and bacteria training. There's 2 separate trainings that day.
Up on the screen.
Hmm?
Steve is up on the screen.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay, well, when no one says anything, we get no feedback.
Oh,
A plus.
is your Bluetooth picking this up?
My Bluetooth?
You're as a member of the.
Is that me?
I think that's you. I don't know, but
Pretty sure. How could that be? I mean.
it popped up.
They might have
Let me mute that and see if it makes a difference.
Connected to the Wi-Fi, is that
Is there another
just using
Steve?
Wi-Fi gets me onto?
No, that's the weird part.
So let's see.
I mean,
I'll disconnect from the Wi-Fi and we'll see what happens.
are you on a loop?
Now that you're on mute, maybe it'll work just fine.
If you're on a loop, it might put you into the owl automatically
On a loop.
for your hearing aids.
What loop are you talking about?
Radio frequency loop.
Is there one?
I don't know. There could be a, like,
No, I mean, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't have a
Okay.
receiver for the radio frequency.
okay, all right, just one.
Well, it seems to have stopped now, so maybe just muting Steve, whoever he is.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
it's just
somebody
enough.
else.
I can believe that. Technology escapes us here. Wait 1 second.
What? Actually, John, I wonder who it is. I mean, is somebody lurking in our meeting?
It popped up when you opened your computer.
I did.
It did. So, yeah,
But that's bizarre.
I don't have any other indication, but,
Evicted from the meeting. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm sort of amazed. I connected to the library Wi-Fi, the public Wi-Fi,
yeah,
but that shouldn't put me into the Zoom session.
no, it shouldn't. It's, I can't explain it. But, anyway, so I'm on last month's agenda. Not gonna help. So, I got a budget report. In fact, Leon, got a budget report from Nick Lawler. And, wanted to present it. I think I sent that out, previously or prior to the meeting as well tonight. And can I get this?
Yeah, I'm a little confused. In invasive management, this is assuming that Solitude has come through with an analysis and said what they would propose to bid.
A good question.
Yeah. And then additionally, boat ramp construction and oversight, CPC allocated $30,000 for the study.
Right.
Can I assume the study is done? And I'd like to see it if it is.
Oh,
And
now,
then-
see, I was gonna ask you if you'd had any interaction, from the Lake Committee, with, planning. Nothing.
No, I've seen nothing about it was going through Nick Lawler, I believe, to
Yeah,
engage TRC for the engineering study.
right, and I understood that was underway.
Underway, yeah.
You
But
don't
now
have
I see
any-
that they're allocating money for construction and oversight, which I'm quite happy with. If Littleton Water Department is going to weigh in versus me having to go tin cupping to the CPC, which I fully
Right.
expected to do. But anyway, confusing numbers.
Oh, okay, Mark, can you flesh this out at all, or?
So I don't know what the status of the engineering study is per se. I know when I met with Nick sometime in the past.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a blur now.
Everything's a blur. I've been on vacations. I'm just trying to get back into. Nick did say that the water department was going to pay for the installation of the boat ramp.
Ah,
So-
okay.
But I don't know what the status of the study is.
Exciting, but we
Yeah.
don't know what the boat ramp is going to involve.
I don't Yeah, I don't.
Okay, I'll get back to him. I had,
Nick on vacation for a couple weeks, so I'll get more information from him.
no problem, no problem. I had asked him, last week about the, Beaver Solutions flow control device maintenance and management. If that was money that was available, and he said that that's already been taken care of, it's already been spoken for, and the money's been spent evidently. Is that something you know about now?
No, you're talking about Beaver Solutions on Long Pond?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
No.
on, no, just as part of the water commissioner's budget here.
But Beaver Solutions has nothing to do with Spectacle Pond at this point. Long Pond it does, and obviously it has control of the outlet.
Right. No, well, Nick was brief and just said that that money is not available. It's been spent. I just didn't know what the line item was. I thought maybe it was something to do with spec bond, but.
No, I think Beaver Solutions was supposed to go out and take a look at the structure out there and repair it if required. And we had allocated money for that. So again, I'm thinking, oh, money has been spent. Can I get a report? What happened?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to set up a meeting with Nick and go line by line here.
You're understanding that they're gonna go look at the beaver deceiver where?
Along.
The outlet of Long Pond.
Okay.
It's been like covered with trees for years.
Well, tree bounced off of it.
Yeah. It's like smashed down and yeah.
But apparently it's
Still works, yeah.
good working order, I believe, but some upkeep and repair, I'm sure is called for. But okay, well, I was hoping that there was a little bit more interaction with Nick over at Spectacle Pond, but I will follow up with that. Get back to you on this.
There may have been some beaver trapping at Spectacle Pond.
Yeah. Well, that was the impression I got, and I figured you'd be front and center on that, but such is not the case. No problem.
And Leon, you're not. Last time we talked about that we were interested in getting the design work done for the ramp, but you're not aware of it having been done.
That's correct. I knew work was in progress, but no plan has been made visible to me.
What work was in progress?
Again, I say that it was interesting.
It was begun. Evidently, that design was done. I mean, design was underway.
The engineering study.
I haven't heard
Some
sort of an engineering design for the ramp.
Well, last meeting we were told that it hadn't been started and it would be appropriate to start the design work.
Yeah, it's my understanding that at least that's been started. I think Nick initiated that for Matt, perhaps.
Okay.
But again, let me get in front of Nick and see what we can sort on all of that. But yeah, all right. But thought there'd be a little bit more to say about that. We'll let that slide. Mark, how's the budget coming from your end? Everything firm as you left
I
off?
wasn't at this CPC meetings. I spent
That's fine. Yeah.
everything else is fine.
Super. How are you standing up? Seems like a big swirl around you. It's kind of hopefully dying down, but that's great. We can go into some of the meetings. We've seen the CPC twice since we met last, I believe. And just last night, as a matter of fact. And the first time, Tim Pearson of the conservation agent presented, 4 different requests for us, both at Long Lake and at Forge Pond. Requests for the lake management plans, preservation plans that we're calling them, and the herbicide treatments for this year. I think we'll be able to squeeze those in since they have the money available. The first meeting we made some inquiries about the proposal, hopefully, changing things around a little bit, with the way things have been written. Trying to, get some flexibility, as we learned last year. Without flexibility, we can lose our window of opportunity. Things were planned to be administered, in terms of herbicide treatments in like July. And that we learned last year is far too late to really begin effectively. And, it's usually more like, maybe late, May, before, or when the first treatments are happening. And also we need to coordinate with Park and Rec, at Long Lake, the town beach. So that, discussion, during the first meeting, of the CPC that we attended was shelved. I think we got the approval for the,
Lake
Long
management
Lake
plan for Long Lake.
Lake management plan, was approved, but then, we stumbled over shared funding, with Westford, on both items for Forge Pond.
No,
But, well, we didn't proceed with the approval, or discussion.
we had asked for, just some additional flexibility,
And then we
in
were
line
meeting
with what we,
Conscom.
with what CPC had advised us
Yes.
to do last summer.
Yes.
And there were concerns about matching funds from Westford for the lake management plan. There weren't concerns for herbicide because we have a request for herbicide in front of Westford CPC already. And they said, go back and talk to conservation and come to an agreement between yourselves as to what you're asking for.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, things went, at the Conscom meeting, there were no changes made to the requests, much to our disappointment, but it didn't seem to, really slow things down last night at the second CPC meeting because, everything passed. And I think, wonderfully, when you come right down to it, under the
Right.
circumstances, we knocked it out of the park, so.
We did ask about what kind of flexibility the CPC would have in, timing, for the treatments and whether if we couldn't spend it all this summer, could we spend it later? Even though the schedule was listed as specifically, July, August for treatments and this summer. And they were willing to be flexible about those things.
So
So,
if we decide to do it in May, it will be okay?
yes,
They seem to have enough money in reserve that once,
no,
these
it
are-
has to be after town meeting.
once it's all approved in
After.
town meeting,
Which will be early.
which is what, the first week of May.
Right.
That should free things up. So we have a great deal of flexibility there.
Yeah, the one
Very
thing we
thankful.
don't have flexibility on is, the allocation is specifically for the treatments is specifically for herbicides. So if, for instance, if Long Lake doesn't need $45,000 of herbicide treatment this summer, we couldn't use it next year for eco harvesting once we have our permits.
Sure.
It can only be used for herbicides. The CPC had, after we met with them last summer, they advised us to be specific about your problem, but be flexible about what the solution is to avoid the problem we had last year.
Is this the carryover from that problem though? The fact that it has to be herbicide?
It's a new problem. It's
This is a new
the way the
request.
application was written, it was specifically for herbicides.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the things we requested to be modified,
I see.
was to be herbicides or other treatments that have been approved. And it was decided that it should only be specifically for herbicides
By Conscom.
by Conscom, right?
Oh, That's when you said there was
They were,
disappointment. Yeah.
we were disappointed. I suppose it's difficult to go back in to a certain extent and rewrite things and so on, but they didn't see the
It
point
was,
at all.
it was all, I mean, we gave them a draft that they.
You went through the trouble of putting it all on paper, and it was voted down.
Yeah.
And I got the impression from that things were gonna be all right, and things were all right last night, so,
Right,
we'll see what the future holds, because that's the only reason
Right.
we were trying to get these revisions,
right,
is that if there's
so it was,
additional monies or something, but they don't seem to think there's gonna be any money left over from this treatment.
yeah, I mean, the Community Preservation Committee was very generous with their consideration and what they were willing to be flexible with. So, aside from possibly needing to do it for eco harvesting, it's really good. And there were things in the lake management plan that we might not need to be, that were listed, that we might not need to do for Forge Pond because they might duplicate what's already been done. And,
That was a very good point you brought up. I appreciate that.
you know,
Uh,
they were willing to
Why repeat the same thing?
allow
We already have the data.
other kinds of elements that are typically in lake management plans to substitute for those.
I encourage you to write that in your minutes.
I have notes on,
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'd document that for your meeting tonight, because that was Andrew speaking. I don't know the Conscom or CPC took a vote on that expansive interpretation that Andrew, there was a lot of seemingly agreement because nobody protested, but I think you won one last night. And so I'd encourage you to document that, so you've got that for your own records. In addition to your notes, get it in this group's minutes, that if that's what that's my interpretation of what took place. Encourage you to flesh that out.
yeah, I mean, they were, I didn't, it was part of the discussion. It was, there was no disagreement. It seemed that when they voted on it, they were voting on it based on the discussion that they'd had. If this group wants, we can put those, to that level of flexibility into our minutes. Okay. Okay,
Thanks, Diane.
so yeah, it was,
Put a lot of work on your behalf, and many
They
thanks
were-
again. You spilled everything out.
I
very
thought,
consistently,
yeah, I
and-
thought they were very generous in their.
Yeah.
The way. that
Well, I
they
think we have
considered-
a lot of support on the CPC right now, and I'm delighted because we don't have deep pockets, on the town budget, and the two lakes, Long Lake and Forge Pond are outside of, water commissioner's jurisdiction, so.
So just so the people know, right? So our funding this year, as I understand it, is 99.6 from the water department. 88.5 for Spec Pond, 11.1 for Common. And then 10,000 line item under Conservation Commission in the general town budget for Clean Lakes. And then from Littleton CPC, 45,000 for Long Lake herbicide treatment, 35,000 for Forge Pond herbicide treatment, 35,000 for Long Lake management plan, preservation plan, 35,000 for Forge Pond Lake Management Preservation Plan, along with commitment from Friends of Forge Pond for half of that. 17,500. And Friends of Forge Pond would continue to seek other matching funds, for instance, from Westford CPC. But not this year. They're meeting tonight to agree on which of the things that have been presented are going to be approved, so they've already considered everything. And then there's also, we had previously gotten approval from the CPC for 20,000 for Forge Pond H&H engineering study, looking at possible improvements for drawdown. So that's from Littleton. There are 2 Westford CPC funding requests under review that they're considering tonight, for 20,000 for herbicide treatment on Forge Pond and 20,000 for the H&H engineering study, matching what Littleton would approved. So we'll see whether after tonight whether those are approved. And that is our funding for next year, which is really good.
And noted in the Park and Recreation fiscal year 27 budget presentation was they collected $2,000 and change on their effort for the year that, the season that ended Labor Day last year. They also approved recently to put in a fee structure associated with Camp T that we
Excellent.
tried to get a year and a half ago, and so they kicked in with that beginning in fiscal year 27. So you should roughly expect to get, my estimate would be $5,000 more from that. And those Park and Rec are each ongoing programs, so money will accumulate year after year after year until you folks determine how you want to work with Park and Recreation Commission to spend it.
So the 2,000 from Park and Rec Long Lake fees was from 2025, and you would expect similar.
That's fine, but why don't you contact Alicia Day, the PRCE director, to get her to confirm what I'm saying, because I don't speak for them,
No,
but
that's fine.
I
We'll do
attended
that.
those meetings and. heard
Last
those-
meeting I attended, they
those
just didn't
things.
know the exact number. They didn't have that, so.
Yeah, she reported that.
Is that earmarked in any way? Does it have to be used on Long Lake?
So do you want to check with Alicia?
I will.
Okay. And the Camp T fees starting in 27, they agreed on what the
fee structure.
rate would be.
Let her tell it what it is, but essentially a similar thing that they had on the membership aspect pertaining to Long Lake memberships. They now applied a somewhat similar concept with regard to Camp T that routinely brings in more than $500,000 worth of revenue annually.
No, that's really great. That's been a long time coming, and I got to applaud you for needling them for what, 2 years now.
You were there too.
So,
John, I'll follow up and get the info.
Yeah.
I'll follow up.
oh, excellent, great. That'd be dynamite. Let me follow up with you. Did you get my
I'm working.
month late response
I'm working on it.
on that? Good, thank you. Let's hope everything goes smoothly between us and the water commissioners, and nothing falls through the cracks. We got a latest bill from from TRC doing the application for the dredging permit, and some of it rolled over into town funds, so that the water department has paid their full commitment. The rest are all coming through the town.
Well, yeah, on that, let me ask, I think you have a $10,000 appropriated amount in the DPW budget of this year that is in a use it or lose it posture,
That's gonna be used first.
but you only now have 3.5 months to use it.
Well, it's gonna be drawn from that immediately. We'll get another bill when,
So momentarily it's gonna, okay, great. Good, thank you.
yeah, it should go in that order. The other fund is, rotating fund, but, we'll exhaust that too.
Just so long as the
Appreciate it.
DPW 10 grand doesn't walk away.
Definitely happy, you brought that up. Yeah. that should be that. And, wow. Happy not to talk a whole lot more about the budget. Very honest. Lake and Pond updates.
So,
we wanna,
thank you, Mark, for all your work to manage this for us, as a,
more than our liaison, he's our masseuse.
yeah, I mean, you came in 4 months ago and said, you don't have to worry about this, we're gonna deal with it for you. So that was really great. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
That was giant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can dive into any additional lake news. I know that Jerry and I were talking a little bit about this this dam project that's coming up, and we've received correspondence from Nick saying there will be no participation from any committees in town with this dam study. It's state run, and they are interacting with the water department, and so you're hoping that Michael didn't get a little slap on the wrist or something for talking to Jerry.
Let me elucidate on that a little bit.
Go ahead.
So let me break this down into prior to last meeting, and since last meeting. So prior to last meeting, there was a Corps of Engineers study, and the Corps of Engineers study said, and we talked about this at the meeting, dam removal not supported by dam owner DOT due to the purpose of the dam to provide I-495 stability and flood reduction. That was in the Corps of Engineers study. So that's why they never really looked at dam removal, because the DOT would never approve it for those two reasons. Then I learned from Conscom that
Can you send me that snippet?
And look at it right here.
Okay.
But I need the front page here for my next thing. So then learned from Conscom, Tim Pearson, that he was working at LELWD over the summer, and he put in for this grant, and they received the grant for the dam removal. And so I went to LEWD, the front desk, and I said, hey, I heard about this study. Who's your project manager for it? Can I talk to him? And they said, yeah, sure. Mike Gregg is the guy. And he came out and we talked for a while. And then last meeting, I asked if I could be appointed as the project manager or work with LEWD, because we don't necessarily need them to come here to tell us I can be involved and then tell everybody what's going on. So then since last meeting, Mike sent me the Mill Pond Dam Removal Feasibility and Preliminary Design Services contract. And I looked over it, and in it, it said there would be a kickoff meeting in which Horsley Witten Group will work closely with DER and project partners to provide open and frequent communications on the project status and progress submissions. I went, yeah. I mean, this is the lesson we learned from Shaker Lane. You got to get with people early and often to let people know what's going on, because there's people that live all around the lake, Mill Pond, they're very interested in this. And the worst thing that'll happen is somebody finds out about this and we don't even know about it or didn't tell them about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get this early and often. So I sent a note to Mike and said, hey, could you make sure that Clean Lakes Committee is considered to be a project partner, and we can call into these telecons and be a participant in that way. And then there was silence for about 2 weeks. Mike didn't get back to me. He had always gotten back to me within like a day. And I said, okay, what's brewing over there? And then a note was sent to John, not to me, from Nick Lawler. And he said, all communication will go through Nick, through him, and he will keep us advised of any progress. So I figured, and I was the last person on copied on that. So obviously he was upset at the fact that I was working with Mike and that we wanted to be a partner, which seemed perfectly logical to me. The Horton Wisley said, all partners would just be at least a kickoff meeting. And so I went to talk to Nick yesterday, and he's on vacation. So I gave it 2 weeks to, kind of calm down a little bit. But I really think that it's important that Clean Lakes be understanding what's going on. And even if we have to, all our communication can go right through the LED. We won't say anything at the meetings, but if we see something going wrong, because we have like 200 years worth of experience in this room, well, maybe. And also we're responsible to me, for the people around the Mill Pond to be aware of what's going on.
Sure.
And to have this going on and nobody even know what's going on, I don't think is right. And I think that's our job is CLC is to sell this. Once this study is done, then we have to sell it to the town. We have to sell it to the people around the lake. And I think to leave us out of this is it's not fair.
Is there any justification for why?
So when I met with Nick way back when about this, what he told me is that the water department's not driving this. It's all through DER, what the state
The
is
state.
driving. So I think Jerry's got a good point that someone needs to be involved at least in ears so that we can relay the information. But I think Nick's probably thinking you're trying to drive the study rather than just gather information to disseminate, right?
Sure.
Because I don't think we can affect it at all. I don't think the
Oh,
water.
no, I wouldn't expect to.
I don't think the water department can affect it at all. I think this is, like, they applied for the grant and they're completely hands off and they're just gonna get it.
I think we can get involved by making sure they have all the information. Horton Worsley, we have in-depth knowledge about the Corps of Engineers study. We need to make sure they have the Corps of Engineers study. When they go and do the survey to the dam, I think somebody from Mill Pond needs to be there because we know the dam. They know that the sluice gate doesn't work. I don't know. Let's go down and make sure that they look at the sluice gate and they're aware of that. So I think we do have a lot to offer to these folks. And I have been on the other side of it, a thing like this. And I think Horton Worsley Group, they get contracts and they get rated on how they did on the contracts. And if we give them a heads up on things, no direction, and everything would go through LAWD because they are contractually the people who are part of it. But I think we have a lot to contribute. And just to say that we're going to let these people go off and do it on themselves without any input from Clean Lakes, I think we're doing a disservice to Horton Worsley when we're wasting government money by not contributing.
My understanding from my talking with Nick is that the water department isn't really driving this, that it's all coming through the state.
Right.
So I think as much as we can provide information and be ears to know what's going on, I think we can try, but I don't know how far, because I'm not even sure how much influence the water department has. It
I
sounds
wouldn't
like,
imagine they have any. I think this is
No, I mean, like,
state run and they're looking at 5 different dams and,
yep,
it's just bam, 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 bam. So,
yeah, so I think we can try and make sure that they have the right information and try and listen to what's coming out of it so that we can,
Yeah.
so that people aren't
I
shocked.
don't expect these
Yeah.
engineers to reach out to any, local communities.
Well,
Why not? I mean,
They
that was,
should.
that was,
I don't
part of their,
know that they're gonna do that.
that was part of their proposal.
then we'll get junked. If they don't,
Well,
talk
no,
to
it's
the
not,
people.
no, it's not true. That's not true. They're just, I mean, they're looking at removing the dam. We've never once considered removing the dam. In the 20 years that we had an arrangement with the Army Corps of Engineers, removing the dam was never a choice. It was like, we didn't want to do that. That was the last thing we wanted to do.
and maybe we still don't want to do it.
And
So maybe
we still don't want to do it, but then, again,
Maybe there
this is
should
going to
be
advance the cause for the great.
degrees of removing the dam.
So,
That there should be removal of the dam, not removing the dam, and in between, cutting the V in it or something.
Yeah, no, I think working for the state is advocating removal of as many dams as possible throughout the state.
Well,
This may not be
LAWD applied
possible.
for the grant. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say they don't have anything to do with it because they applied for the grant.
I think they applied for the grant to get on the state's radar to be in one of the dams to be removed.
Yes.
But I don't think that they're actually going to be involved in the study of that. From my understanding, they're hands off.
So the second part, after the kickoff meeting, they're having a meeting to collect all available, task 2A is Horsley Witten Group will do a search for all existing available data. The kickoff, we need to ensure Horsley gets a copy of so I said they need to get a Corps of Engineering study. And maybe anything else we know about the dam, we should be forwarding to them. We shouldn't let them go off blindly. It's just a waste of money. And so by us not participating and LWD, they're a water company, they're a sanitation department now, and they're all these things. I am perfectly happy to tell Mike, who was very active in helping and seemed to be thankful that there was somebody else interested in this, pass the information through him so that they can bring it up at the meetings, that there are things, when they're looking for information that exists, we can tell them where it is. So
Right, I think gathering all the information that we have to present to the water department is a good thing. I don't know how far it's gonna go
To the state.
to the state through the water department.
At the end of it,
okay,
like, is the outcome that the state will then determine whether or not the dam should be removed? And then they're gonna do it? Like, is it a
No,
binding?
no, they're not going to do it, but they'll
What's
say whether or
the-
not it's possible, I think.
Okay,
Okay, so let me say the task two that they're gonna do after we have the kickoff meeting, collect necessary data to inform hydrologic, hydraulic modeling, preliminary designs. This is all this is already done. So somebody's got to tell them that say, hey, all this stuff that you're asking, you want to do is already done. So maybe you don't have to do it again. Maybe you can do like a quality check on it. They don't like the way the federal government did it. But
Well, this was all done, you know, with the US Army Corps of Engineers contracted with the water department and vice versa, and so the water department has all this data. Yeah,
Well,
Okay.
the
Well, let's make
people
sure
that
they
are,
give it.
the people that are, not everybody at the water department now was there when all this was done. They might not be aware of what was done at the time.
So I think we have a lot to offer,
I
and I don't
agree.
think we should be shut out. I agree that we should go through the water department with our comments, but it's garbage in, garbage out. We just let these guys go and do whatever without all the background data that maybe the water department
I
has
think we
said.
could be an asset.
Yes,
I agree.
and so when the general manager gets back after 2 weeks, I'm on his appointment, and I'm gonna ask him, I'm gonna tell him what the benefits are of involving us, and then whatever he says, I'll then report back to you guys.
Excellent.
Is it useful for more than you to talk to him?
I don't want to blow this out of hand. I've talked to Mark about it already, and I think our next step, if we as a group are not happy with the situation, if they say, you know, no CLC, I think we rightfully as a committee should go to the select board and say, you know, our constituents are not being involved in the study and it's going to impact them. And
Well, the study won't impact them. It's not that the state is advocating removing the dam. They're investigating the possibility of removing a series of dams. It's just, you know.
so if you lived on on Mill Pond, and you
Yeah.
found out there was somebody doing a study on the possibility of the dam,
Yeah.
don't you automatically say, oh, well, maybe they actually are going to remove the dam if they're doing
They do that without buy-in.
if they're doing a study.
There has to be a lot of buy-in, and there's, right now, you know, there's nothing shaking, so.
Yeah, but okay, so back to Shaker Lane, the lesson, I think we all learned from that, people, 95% of people who voted for it was early and often. Get the information out to folks, and I think that's our role in Clean Lakes, is to get information out to the people.
I hope we can.
And so we have to be involved.
We could let the neighborhood and, you know, the residents know what's happening.
Yes,
Even, you know, without, you know, even without talking to, you know, I agree with what you're saying. But even absent that, we can let the residents know what's going on.
sounds like a town newsletter item.
yeah,
All you can really let them know is that there's a study
Yeah.
That's all you can say, yeah.
by the
They don't know
state.
anything right now.
Okay.
Hell, if I lived on the lake, I would have a lot of questions.
Evaluate the feasibility of removing the dam. I mean, it's even not, it's.
But can we just talk, Clean Lakes could put something in the upcoming newsletter of the town to communicate this activity that's taking place?
Yep,
Sure.
great idea, good start.
I think
But then it would be great if we could answer people's questions on it as it goes along.
And
Like if somebody asked me.
If we had an ear to the ground there, that would be
Yeah, somebody
helpful.
said, hey, are you gonna tell them about the
So-
Corps of Engineers?
but I think what I heard you, and I'd like to clarify, so I think you're saying don't need a vote of this group today to demonstrate support. This group has awareness that you're proceeding in discussion with general manager, Ellie, you know, so forth.
Right.
And only if you're rebuffed do you bring back to this group to say, I think we're being rebuffed and we need to up it to take a
Yes.
formal vote. Pretty much on the line for this group reports to the select board, and if need be, the select board should weigh in with regard to, on behalf of the citizens, communication and insurance that all things are being considered from, the history of the dam.
Excellent summary.
Yeah. And the primary role of us being involved is so that we can communicate back to
Yes.
the residents of this town about what's going on. Because people are gonna have questions like, does this mean they're gonna remove the dam? Is this a binding thing? Like, what does this mean, right? Like,
Yeah, all of those questions.
just all of these things
What
we
about
need
the
to
smell?
answer. Yeah, yeah.
Just wait, it's really.
Well, I mean, if kind of the next step might be an escalation to the select board, it might be useful to have somebody with the select board's perspective at the meeting to maybe short circuit some of that.
Which meeting you mean?
Your meeting with Nick.
I guess we could, but it kind of looks like there's a problem if I bring in reinforcements at the meeting. I don't know if there's a problem right now. I think we just had a miscommunication. He thinks I want to take over the project. And that's not my intent at all.
Right, he heard you
And
say
we don't
project
really-
manager, like, no, I just want to be a liaison and know what's going on.
We don't have the opportunity to do that anyway, so I mean, it's just like. If this doesn't come from Littleton, and I mean like people that live around Mill Pond, that's where we got involved with the proposal to dredge in the first place.
Do we
If there
know,
wasn't a big drive from the neighbors to do this, we wouldn't have done it.
what the impetus was for the application to be submitted in the first place?
I don't know.
It's out there, it's a free study. Why not apply?
Apparently Corey Godfrey started this. Now Corey Godfrey's gone. This is the history I heard. And he was pretty actively involved with you guys, right?
As last user,
And he was around during the time of the study, the Corps of Engineers study.
Mhm.
And when it caught my eye in the Corps of Engineers story when they said, premise of the whole study is that the dam can't come down. And then they went on with all these other exotic things.
well,
So I think Corey took that and he was the one who started this whole thing. But he's gone now. And it was handed to,
but he wasn't an advocate for removing the dam.
well, he must have,
He was not
somebody
an
thought,
advocate, I'm telling you, he was not an advocate for removing the dam. That was never a consideration. There was a range of, I don't know what was it, Leon, maybe 20 different options?
Yeah, there were 14 in the first one was don't do anything and the last one was remove the dam.
Right.
Yeah. But we never considered
The
doing
range
it.
in between that we focused on.
And then the whole project got shut down because the state said, we're not gonna do this,
We
we
wouldn't-
only wanna remove dams now. That
Wouldn't
was-
let you go forward with this anyway.
Yeah, so like things had changed, so by the time all of that had come through, and I think that's where Corey probably went, oh, maybe we should look at removing the dam.
right. And then the water department, it stuck with it. And then Tim Pearson, who was doing part-time work, they gave him something to do and said, want to apply for this grant? They did a good job, I guess. And now, so they did apply for it. So we can't say we the town had nothing to do with it. We applied for the grant. I don't believe the state would have done it on their own.
No.
And we applied
The
for it.
towns were like, it's a contest essentially. They say, look, we are doing these studies. Would you be interested? Do you have a dam that you'd like to have removed? Why not look into it? State does it for you.
Sure thing. So there was some concept on the part of this town, as actuated by the LAWD, that maybe if the dam came down, things would be better. Or why did we even ask?
I think it would be advantageous. I think Nick told me in the past that it would be advantageous to the water department if the dam came down.
That's interesting. Why?
I don't remember.
What do they have?
Don't
What do
remember.
they care?
They have
just-
wellheads over in that general area and they think the water would be better.
Well, I'm on board with that.
Yeah,
But-
well,
okay.
wells where?
They have wells there on Whitcomb and they have the new wells they're putting up on Taylor Street. So I think both of those wellheads, they think the water quality will improve without the dam.
If you just have more flow going through,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
It
there you
would-
go.
it wouldn't go up near them, it would short circuit over to
They're behind the dam. They're,
upstream of the dam. Yeah, and
Right, so it just mean there's more flow happening, so,
It won't change the flow. Flow is determined by rain, snow melt, a lot of things like that.
she's saying where the flow goes. I think without the dam there, some of those areas, near Taylor Road and that kind of thing, wouldn't get any water because the water would be lower and they wouldn't have anything over there.
Yeah. Now, down the line, it may be interesting to retain part of the dam, lower everything. I don't know. I mean, there's just nothing but options there. But, it's an immense study, and this is just scratching the surface. This is what if the dam went away? That's all. Not saying anybody's doing it. So, I mean, we can't get too wound about this.
So what you're
But I
saying,
do think if we could learn more about it, if we can understand the process, and if there are updates, we can update the neighbors, that'd be a real plus.
Well, I think the fact that we requested to be part of this, the study, we're already bought into it.
Yeah.
Where this town asked is it possible to remove the dam?
Yeah.
So to say that we don't really care about it or.
Oh, no, I'm
We
not
just
saying we
asked
don't care
for it.
about it. I'm saying that we have a problem in Mill Pond.
We have a
But
problem with
removal
it.
of the dam was never a consideration until we lost the opportunity to restore Mill Pond.
Yeah.
So now we're moving on.
So let's move on. Let's keep everybody informed. of
No,
what's
it's good.
going on.
I appreciate it.
I was just gonna say the water department said the dam should be removed. No one in town has said I mean, this was all done through the water department. And I don't know about anyone else here, but didn't know that we applied for the grant until we got it, so.
I read about it in a Springfield paper.
It all comes down to the Tim Pearson was working over there and had to give him something to do. All of a sudden, here we
I
are.
think they were looking for something for him to do, but
So I think
that was one of the things on his list.
So I think whatever the result of this study is extremely preliminary anyway, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's interesting that the water department believes that removing the dam would improve the water quality for our drinking water, and therefore they may be advocating for that.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's the case. I mean, they're always looking long-term,
Well, sure.
they're growing and running out of
How
aquifer.
about we get with the water department, and ask them why they felt that way? That would be something that we then convey to the people around Mill Pond is studying to remove the dam because of these reasons.
Right.
I mean, you just gotta get the communications thing going. Otherwise, our constituents are gonna come back and say, what are you guys doing
Trying to
up
mess
there?
our neighborhood up.
Yeah.
right, so I mean, I think
Trying to drain the place.
there's one perspective that says this is strictly a engineering study to look at the feasibility, and after it's done, then there'll be a review by the town, the locals, the neighborhoods as to whether this is something we want, right? And I think what Jerry's saying is we shouldn't make it, step one, step two, but make sure that people know what's going on, and so that not that it's still going to be a two-step process, but probably the second step will go better if people are aware of what's happening as the engineering work is being done.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good newsletter input there. Just what you said is what we should tell folks.
Mhm.
Well, no, it's been a big transition because, when the state stakeholders said there's no way we'd approve the restoration project at Mill Pond, we would sooner advocate removing the dam. It was the last thing any of us wanted. It was the last thing the neighborhood wanted. Nobody wanted to drain Mill Pond, but
We
now,
also live on a lake.
it's a problem.
Maybe better to have a stream than a lake.
It may very well, but
Yeah.
that was the last thing on our list. So.
And if it improves water quality. However, we might come out of step one and they say, now we can't remove the dam because
Well, we may
95.
very well find that. Who knows? But yeah, it's interesting to see things happen, but I don't think they want our input. They may allow us to.
Right, so-
listen.
Find out.
I don't think it's legit that they can deny us input. That's my whole point to the select board is that we are a commission, we are supposed to keep our constituency informed, and we are supposed to use our collective minds to make sure that the people in town are doing the right things. We just don't let organizations go off, do things.
Nobody's doing anything there.
Yeah, so I
Looking at-
congratulate LWD for getting this grant, and
I think
now we just have to deal with it.
If nothing else, we should be sure that they get the benefit of all the work that has already been done.
No,
That's it too. That's what kills
So
us.
this communication path should be open.
Yeah.
And for Nick Lawler to say everything has to go through him, maybe he has some reason for that, and maybe it's a good reason. Oh, we ought to hear about it.
Well, there's only $50,000 in the allocation, right? And if the study can stand on the shoulders of what's already been done, then there would be a lot more understanding of the feasibility.
A lot more value delivered in the study.
But if they have to redo things that have already been done, then you won't get any further than we already know about. Yeah.
no, it's,
So that would be part of what you would be talking about with Nick is, are they aware of all of these things, and should we set up a process where, or they can set up a procce with Army Corps of Engineers to get that information forwarded to the state.
Yeah, I would just like to talk to them about the benefits Clean Lakes can have as a partner in this program.
So you're gonna meet with them and you'll let us know what happens.
Yeah, so that was prior to last meeting, since last meeting, and next time it'll be.
And Nick's on
Next
vacation for
meeting.
2 weeks, so.
That sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Can I ask if you folks dealt with the whole subcommittee that's mentioned, the open space recreation plan? Have you reconvened that group that hadn't met in several years, et cetera?
The Mill Pond Group?
Because that was here, the last time I was here, which was about 3 or 4 months ago.
So-
You were discussing reconvening, and then another entanglement is that there's a bank account of the Mill Pond Association
Yeah,
that Bartlett Harvey's was still getting, statements sent to his house as opposed because of his predecessor.
Had
that
the
owned it.
update, I think.
yeah, so Mitt and I looked at who all the folks were, and either they don't live around Mill Pond anymore, or they have moved out of town or something. So
Although which people were?
the people who are on the subcommittee.
No. I mean, the
Well, that's-
subcommittee was people in the Clean Lakes.
No, there was one other person, you're right, Clean Lakes, other than Mitt and I, but all the other people were people who were.
Well, I don't
were
need-
drafted.
I don't need
it was a
Well, if
subcommittee
you-
of our,
if you
of
haven't-
the
if you
CLC, it
haven't
was
found that,
CLC
then I would-
members and our
Yes.
advisor.
I would ask that because of the coordination and Jerry, I think all the stuff that you're bringing emphasis to a place that I don't think has been discussed in this group for some period of time, a future agenda item, deal with aspects of that association and pursuing the dollars that Bartlett had identified as it's happening out there, and figure out whether there's anything to do that we can claim, Clean Lakes can claim the money as opposed to put it on
No, Mitt,
unclaimed property.
Mitt is pursuing, getting the money
Steve,
right now.
yeah.
He's the last.
It isn't.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's been several months and it was several
Yeah.
months before that, it's been years before that,
The guy
so
from the general.
somehow we gotta get
Yeah,
closure.
the subcommittee was
Okay.
you,
We ought to
Mike
find out.
Prue,
Yeah.
Mitt Wanzer, Leon Weaver, and Matt Silverman. So it's only Mike Prue that's not around
Oh,
anymore.
he used to be a member of the committee.
Yeah,
He's still in town.
he's still in town.
He's no longer a member of the committee. It's a subcommittee of the
Okay, but
CLC.
he's in town and
He
he,
was not interested in pursuing the committee any further.
Right, anyways, that's the
If you need-
subcommittee. So
but
I don't
if
know,
you
are
need-
you
but if
talking
you-
about the association?
No. So maybe I am getting, so
Yeah,
Mitt and I met on this over at the Dirigible,
yeah.
and maybe this came up
It's a good
late,
place to go.
late in our discussion, and I'm not quite clear on what it was to say. So when Mitt comes back, let him speak to this.
Yeah.
because-
Right.
Do we record who attends the meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to point out,
So that this fellow Steve is in the meeting, it's not me. I'm not connected to the meeting.
I don't,
It's-
Oh, he's waving. Hi, Steve.
Well, we ought to.
Hi, it took me a while to figure out my audio and video.
oh my God, we actually have Steve. Hi, Steve.
We were
Hi,
confused.
my name's Steve Edgerton. I'm from 10 Worcester Road.
Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. At the end, I wanted, in the spirit of early and often awareness, I wanted to bring up a topic at the end. That's why I joined.
what was your last name?
Edgerton, Egerton.
Hi. Thanks.
Thank you.
We're glad you made yourself known because we thought you were Steve. We were confused.
I use this at work, so I always just put Steve. That's why it popped up.
Not a problem. Welcome.
All right, so that's Mill Pond we've discussed. Any other lakes?
So, I mean, to Rob's specific question about whether the subcommittee has met, like we said, it would be appropriate to, Jerry and Mitt got together. The subcommittee hasn't met.
We talked 2 meetings ago about reconvening the subcommittee, and Mark weighed in, didn't think that there was any need to be that formal about it for these initial talks. Kind of get these conversations going, see if there's any reason to reconvene or to originally convene. You know, we've never met before, but he said you don't have to go through hoops, and you know, I mean, you don't want a quorum there of like the entire Clean Lakes Committee, but if you got 3 or 4 people that are talking, it need to be a recorded committee meeting, you know, subcommittee meeting with reports and so on. So,
Okay.
That's where this is coming from.
Good, thank you.
But, how's the drawdown?
Drawdown's going real well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're hoping for a real good result.
That's great.
The lake is lower than it's ever been.
That's exciting.
Well, lower than it's been in the last 15 years anyway.
Yeah.
We're talking about Forge Pond, Mattawanakie right now, in the
Right, yeah,
drawdown
sorry.
efforts. Yep.
Yes. And of course, it's been cold.
Mhm.
So it's warming up now, but that long stretch of cold with low water,
We
that,
got another 6 inches of snow coming in a couple of days then.
yeah.
Are you still frozen out? Is the whole lake frozen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there's still snowmobiles and ice fishermen and
Yeah, we got a little rain or something tomorrow, I guess, but really, there's been very little rain. Temperature's been low.
well, I think we've already achieved whatever we can.
Yeah.
So whatever happens from here isn't gonna do anything additional.
So do you go out and rake this exposed area or you just leave it?
Most of the exposed area doesn't have any invasive weeds in it because drawdowns work.
Mhm.
So there are a lot of native weeds in the exposed areas, but they survive.
Well, I would say that, this year, when the area we exposed did have invasive plants in it because we haven't had good drawdowns for the last several years. But we had kind of the most fortuitous sort of conditions we could have. The first half of the winter, it was very cold. The water was very low, and the exposed lake bed didn't have snow on it. So it was exposed to the full cold weather,
Yeah.
which is you need dry and cold.
Yeah.
And then in the last month, I'd say, right, we've had a lot of snow. So we got that part done, but then a lot of snow on the ice, which is also good for the invasive plants
Without,
in the deeper part of the lake.
Yeah.
Because they're deprived of more of the sunlight.
Sure.
And so more of that can die also.
It's been like at least a month, right? So I would
Right.
say at least 4 weeks of ice out on Long Lake.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we've had good,
Oh,
Ice
ice
and
is
snow.
fully
Full
iced.
ice, yeah, fully iced. I would say it's been a month.
So the conditions have been really good.
yeah.
So we're hoping that this will show a good result. We'll have to see, you know, by the middle of July, we'll have a real good reading on how this
Sure.
worked out.
Sure, no, that's very positive. Most
Although
positive
you'll
report.
also be doing herbicide on top of that potentially, so.
Well, this only, of the entire lake, weeds grow on a little less than 50% of the lake bed. And the drawdown exposes a little less than half of that. So about a quarter of the lake bed, this isn't really affecting
Yeah,
the lake bed. And so we still have a serious problem with that. There's a lot of these weeds in there.
Yeah.
They spread by fragmentation. The power boats, including mine,
yeah.
chop those weeds up and, you know, so
Yeah.
the herbicides still have a big role to play.
So what, I know you guys have like a goal for the drawdown that you've never been able to hit. Did you hit it this year? Like what's the total?
It's real close. It's within a couple of 3 inches of.
Oh, that's great. So is that like 2 feet, 6 feet? What's the
It's about 5 feet from the
5 feet?
summer level.
Uh,
Isn't it, Dave? About 5 feet.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're
Go draw down.
2/10 of a foot away from the target.
Mm. And that's the most you've ever been able to do it.
Right.
Mhm.
And the reason is because we had snow. If all that snow had been water, the lake would have come up.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it's been cold, we've had snow. This is what we
yeah,
hope for.
It's an old time winter.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, and last year wasn't bad, but this year's better, so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, last year was deficient, if we would say that, in that the lake wasn't frozen over and covered with snow long enough to block out the light, long enough to kill the plants
Yeah.
from the previous summer's crop.
Mhm.
So they were all still there when the spring came.
Yeah.
And then, we didn't have to wait for them to grow up. They were near the surface,
Yeah.
right, when the lake cleared in the spring.
Go draw down.
Well, we don't have any news at Long Lake at this point. There has
It's
not been another
been
meeting.
awesome skiing on the lake.
Well,
I've
that's
been
true.
out a
It's
lot.
true.
Yeah, it's been great.
I think,
Been
it's a
skiing around the lake a lot. Fun.
popular destination, but, there was no, well, there was a follow-up Conscom meeting, but they did not address, actually two, but they didn't address the park strip along Lake Shore Drive, so that's still pending.
That keeps getting deferred
Yeah.
because it's gonna be too long of a conversation or,
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's, they have a lot on their
Yeah.
list. They have.
I think the lead is Chase and he's been unable to attend the last meetings. So he wasn't there. Sarah wasn't there Tuesday night. So I think it's the lack of their ability to be there and Chase leading, if you will, the effort.
Yeah.
That'd be my take.
No, they scrapped it, like a day before or the day of. the
Day
meeting.
of.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the day of the meeting, they said.
Was a surprise.
Not there, so.
what about Spec Pond, Leon?
Before you switch, just,
Oh.
and Mark can help, because I think he was there too. Steve Yonley, during the fiscal year 27 budget presentation, identified that expectation, hope, spring, summer of the dredging of Frog Pond. That'll then provide good benefits with regard to what's been a failure for decades.
So this spring, summer, now they're saying, okay.
That's his hope.
We will believe it when we see it.
Correct.
but-
Okay, so, it's possible that you were away. It's possible. No, you were there. You were there.
I was there when
for
you were there,
Saturday.
but I don't
Yeah.
remember
That, okay, then I'll stand up and say, yes, that's what was stated.
That's-
So, can I just ask a question about that?
Sure.
So has there been a really elaborate approval process of environmental applications and everything to do this dredging at Frog Pond?
Conscom has,
High and Bond was contracted for 96,500, so that contract was executed within the year, but that's all, concluded and led to the place, and I think Steve had to wait with regard to potential approval, rebuttals and reversals and that type of stuff, so time had to pass in order to ensure, et cetera, and so Conscom did give clearance with regard to proceeding with the next step. I think it's a laydown, if you know the parcel between, it's a flat parcel by Linda Lord off of Lake between Juniper and Lake Shore. So that's all been done, past business. It's now just a matter of the timing with regard to the opportunity to dredge and proceed.
So we're paying somebody to prepare this application for us to be able to do dredging.
That was
It's
Ty
taking a
and
long
Bond.
time. Was that done for Frog Pond?
Ty and Bond it was approved, I want to say, almost a year ago
Uh-huh.
by the select board, 96,500.
And what are they gonna do with the,
So they might not need it because there's probably less than 100 cubic yards of
Yeah,
field to be removed.
Well,
and it's not the
they're
lake,
only
it's
gonna
the
do-
frog pond.
So
It's a different.
I intentionally shut my mouth on this matter because I didn't want to get into the whole
well,
big dredging scenario.
that's what I wondered.
Somehow they maneuvered because the expectation with the tie and bond contract that the tie and bond representatives spoke to in somewhat of a smackdown was if you hadn't neglected to do the stuff that you should have done for many, many, many years, I would need to come before you at Conscom because we now have to remove 99 cubic yards. And obviously, when I hear that number, I know that very, very well. But seemingly there's no left-hand 99 yards isn't talking to the 99 yards over here, and I'm not bringing that stuff up. It's over.
Well, I can believe that it's not more
my
than
big,
that.
right?
Okay, is it
Plus,
also,
plus they don't need to remove any more than that,
there's
you
also.
know, because they can put it again in 5 years.
Is not a navigable waterway.
I think so, yeah, I would guess that it doesn't fall under the same DEP
Okay,
as the
so maybe
lake or
that's it.
something. I would
Well,
guess.
it was designed, it was
It's
designed as
man-made.
a forebay
Yeah,
for dredging. I mean, that was the whole purpose of this, this
Okay,
little
so
basin.
it's not a navigable waterway, right?
yeah.
Okay, that's enough. I don't want to hold up the meeting.
Oh, no, it's just a
And that's where
clarification.
you
I
folks
think it's
have
great.
knowledge that I don't have. So it's that, it's the first, it's not the second. That's where all the
Yeah,
dredging is
yeah.
taking place.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So anyhow, just want to pass that along because I think this group should be aware that's moving along. And again, I think should we learn that that's happening, I would encourage a newsletter sort of mention of that
Yeah,
if we become aware of.
I'd like to see it in the fall, but
Is,
I'd like to see it done, period, so.
I think that's the point.
is the funding for that,
It's within DPW.
is that part of the 10,000 that we got for DPW?
No,
This
it's
is
not,
separate.
we are separate from that, completely separate, not related to
I agree.
the Frog Pond at all.
Frog
Yeah.
Pond is funded, maintenance is funded by Department of Public Works.
That's correct. That's
Because it's a
my-
maintenance
That's
project.
that's my understanding.
Yeah,
So yeah, just wanted, before you move off of Long Lake, because it's got to roll with regard to Long Lake. Just wanted to-
Well, I'm sure it'll get done. I mean, they've been working on this for a while and they finally, figured out, you know,
Yeah.
what they need to
Tom's invested
be able to, yeah.
almost 100 grand already in it, so, yeah.
we've been talking about this since I've been on the Clean Lakes Committee, which has been many years.
Well, at that point in time, we thought we actually had some sway there, but.
Yeah.
But the process is they're going to, dredge, pump, whatever they do, the material across the street. And then dewater it, in the vacant lot that's across the street, across Beach Street. And,
They truck it to somewhere? or is
and
it-
then eventually that'll be collected, once it's all dewatered, it'll be very little material. And it's all water right now, so, but it'll be hauled away and then that lot will be repaired.
When we did the dredging on the outlet for Forge Pond a few years ago, they had, you know, they dredged it and they dewatered it, but they put it directly into these tight, watertight containers that had drains, and the drains went, you know, the water came out and went back into the lake. And it wasn't spread on it, so once it was dewatered, it could be directly
Carted
taken
away.
away. It didn't have to, there was no redigging it up and restoring the
I
land.
believe there'll be a border around this of some material.
Did it
To
stink?
retain it, what's it?
Did it smell?
Oh,
Mm. It only took a day or two for it to dewater.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay, it's not like it's gonna.
it's sand anyway, so,
Somebody-
mostly sand anyway.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying that there are ways to do it, I mean, without having to fill the lot and then clean it up and.
and it wasn't
restore.
a residential neighborhood or something, it was right there at the beach. And nobody was at the beach in the cold weather. You know, it was-
Well, I think in the future,
I don't think you would.
I think in the future, it may be the case that the volume will be small enough so that it can be just put onto a truck and hauled away. And
This was,
watered elsewhere, but
this was 100 cubic yards.
well, again, this is not something we want to truck out of the neighborhood until it's dewatered.
Correct, and so that's the plan.
That's what we did, we dewatered it and then it got put onto a flatbed and taken out.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying you wouldn't have to fill the lot and then dig it up again and.
No, there's
restore-
a portion of the lot is going to be dedicated to the dewater.
For a temporary, hope for like 3 to 4 days, less than a week during a dry period, this is like 6 to 8 months ago. So I was just bringing it up by way of the expectation is it's happening spring, summer.
cool. The Long Lake Neighborhood Association will be interested. All right.
Yeah, so for,
Any news?
for Spectacle Pond, we did do
Yeah.
a drawdown. We removed a couple of stop logs. There was some shoreline exposed. Again, we're in a similar situation as Forge and Manawanaki. Our drawdowns are not nearly as magnificent as the drawdowns on Forge Pond. We only draw down by maybe a foot. It's more the benefits of a drawdown are additionally that we can prevent flooding on some low-lying areas.
During the spring?
Yep.
Cool.
Very good. Thank you, Leon.
And yeah, for ours, we'll be in a month or in a few weeks, we'll be starting to bring it back up. It has to be back up by the beginning of April.
Neat.
Who said that? Is that the Conscom?
That's in our order of
That's the order of
conditions.
condition.
Yeah,
And so what do? You just put the stop lugs back in and so now it stops
yeah,
flowing as much out or?
You can't stop the flow altogether. You have to be sure that there's enough flow to keep Stony Brook alive,
Mhm.
Yeah,
but basically you put the stop lights back in.
incrementally.
Yeah,
yeah.
so it comes up pretty fast.
Hmm. Well, sure, when the snow melts and the ice melts and then,
Yeah, you got a lot of volume there.
yeah.
It's neat.
And we usually have to try to, it'll be a little more difficult this year. When the water comes up, if the ice is still on the lake, it shifts around, and if some people didn't take their docks out, they can have damage if the ice flow gets blown over
Hmm.
against their shoreline.
Yeah, a little bit of wind to move this giant thing of ice, it'll crush anything.
Yeah. Could be devastating.
Anyway, the flow into the lake, the flow through the lake during the spring melt can exceed 100 cubic feet a second.
Jeez,
That's a lot of water.
that's awesome.
Yeah. 8 gallons per cubic foot.
That's dynamite. So, yeah, Stony Brook is hopping about that.
Yeah.
The fluctuation in depth at Stony Brook, does that vary a great deal in the spring or?
I don't know, a foot or two,
Yeah.
you know, Dave?
Not a lot.
Yeah, it
What
is.
is, within a channel for the most part, doesn't spread,
Oh, well, further downstream it spreads.
so, yeah.
There's a giant wetland.
Past Town Farm Road.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I did. Get over there and check that out.
Yeah, when you get over to Graniteville, Stony and.
Before that.
Yeah,
Just past the Abbott Mill
Mhm.
complex.
So it really spreads out in that wetland.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, That's
Cool.
awesome. Okay, hey,
I have a question.
certainly.
Do we know where the bidding process is for the herbicide treatments this summer?
I have not heard. I will follow up
Okay,
and let you know.
I mean, it'd be, I talked to Lauren about this as we were discussing, the issues for the CPC, possible revisions. There was an interest in having us provide any feedback on a draft of the bid document. I think there, conservation's involved. I think we've passed in our suggestions. It'd be interesting to see to what extent they've been incorporated.
From what I recall, the RFP's been prepared, but they weren't submitting it without funding.
Right.
so does that mean it can't get submitted until after town meeting?
I'm not entirely sure what they were submitting when, because there's some of the money that's left over, so
Okay,
they were
So-
trying to get it in a really tight window so that.
yeah, okay.
Has something done in June.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be in a situation where we've been the last 2 years where the timing works out and then we can't do anything.
It's
Right.
always a little bit of a dance.
Yeah,
You wanna have, well, there's no flexibility because the monies expire.
right.
And then you haven't got the other monies until after town meeting, and so there's that.
So I wonder why there's
The
a
acting, but
concern about that. I mean, last time they did bids, they did a bid process and none of the money got spent and it wasn't a problem. If we did a bid now and the process went through, I could see that we wouldn't have contracts put in place until the funding was
I'm
certain.
not sure that you can legally do the bid until you have a funding source. I think that's the concern.
It's like everybody has to agree to play nice. Like if you contract for the work, you actually have money to pay for it. Not a big ask.
Yeah, it does give a very limited window if we want to be doing herbicides as early as May, and
Yes.
town meeting is May.
Yes,
There's no time to do an
it could be the end of May. You know.
Right, is that enough time, like if,
But what
town
happened
meeting-
last year and really, really grim was that we thought Forge Pond was gonna be the only pond eligible. And they could contract
Without bids.
because without bids directly with Solitude. That's who they're gonna compete with, it would save an awful lot of time and hassle, but then plans changed and Spec Pond became eligible and pushed it to a bid. And it took an entire month to
But
process them.
to Tammy's point, now because of the efforts that you made, the Andrew Samarco reference a couple nights ago with regard to, once it's approved in town meeting, CPC said they have enough reserve funds in order to allow you, so that should get out.
Well, not exactly. I mean, the CPC allocations for the herbicide treatments were to be taken from the undesignated reserve, right? And when it's taken from that, it can be spent as soon as the town meeting approves it. If it's from one of the other, like open space or whatever, it can't be spent until until FY 27. So it'd have to wait until July to be spent.
But because this was undesignated, as soon as town meeting approves it, May 5th or 6th, whatever the date of that meeting
Right.
is, you can then proceed.
but so you essentially can't submit the RFP until May 7th.
Yeah, so if that's the question, you're gonna chase that, or definitively?
I'm going to chase it.
Okay.
Cause I mean, the
We
risk will
essentially
be that
can-
we don't then they'd be like, well, we can do it, but we can't do it
Yeah,
until
that's
July,
meetings,
and then we've missed
yeah.
the window,
Then
and we're
it's
like.
another.
No, I'm sure the water department will reach out to Solitude and say, we have this in the works. It all seems to be falling into place, just so, you give us a little window here so that you can attend to these 3 lakes.
Yeah, because if by chance you can't do that, then this group has a real structural element with regard to can't continue to have this
Yeah, this funding
handcuff
would not be,
situation.
yeah,
We've got it, we're gonna have to get the legal beagles to figure out how we break this in.
No, I mean, what we would need to do is get the funding, use previous CPC allocations
Fine.
that are already
3-year
available
period.
that we have 3 years to spend.
Okay,
And,
I think that's legit.
then, so
So
even,
wait for Mark to come up with you can or you can't, and then figure out how you're going to get accomplished what you
Well,
want.
and on top of that, as David said in the past, if we could work either on a per acre basis or some other incremental basis,
They're working that. I know they're working that.
that's awesome, because that will give us some sort of limits to say, okay, we can do this once, we can do this half, we can do
Yeah.
3/4, whatever it is.
well, part of it is having unit costing. Part of it is to have language that would allow treatments to be less than the full amount that was the maximum amount bid, which was the problem last time, was that the treatments that were being requested were less than the full amount bid, which was not allowed.
Right.
And once the bidding process starts, last time it took 3 or 4 weeks for it to work its way through. Once that's done and a contract, it takes another week for the contract to be issued. We have to then have the
So now it's.
plant surveys,
It's already,
uh,
you're already busted.
the plant surveys scheduled and performed and analyzed, and then take.
It's end of June.
And then the plant surveys are reviewed, and we have recommendations from the vendor for what the treatment should be. For Forge Pond, if we need to use Dicot, if the recommendation is to use Dicot for the westward part of the lake, we have to go back to the Westford Conservation Commission and get approval to use Dicot for that.
And now it's July.
Well, that doesn't, you have to wait for them to, for the next
Yeah.
meeting and get on the agenda for the
Yeah,
meeting.
so that's what I'm saying. So you just,
It just
so
takes,
you
I
get that,
I'll get the schedule.
All right. You understand the challenge.
Oh,
And then the turtles in Spec Pond will wake up
that's
and
right,
be
that's
like,
right, yeah.
so, anyway.
Actually, the turtles are only impacted by, mechanical removal,
Oh, okay. Oh,
which is
okay.
great.
Oh, that's good. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they like somebody dropping some weed killer down. That's great. No, that's, I submitted the, my annual report last week.
good for you.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Thank you for doing that for us.
Not fun. I can leave you all in suspense, or I can read it to you. But it was not a happy year. There were a lot of good things that went
It's a busy
right,
year.
but there were a couple of big setbacks, and not doing the herbicide treatments was one. So
So next up, do we hear from Steve Edgerton?
so yeah, let's do that. Steve, are you still there?
I am. Thank
Hey,
you. I will be
jump in.
very brief. I'm going to try to share my screen because it'll make it easier to explain. Let me know if you can see that.
Certainly.
It's coming. There it is.
There we go.
Yep.
You see it? Okay. Okay. This is in the spirit of early and often awareness. Some of you may know about a subdivision that's coming at 146 to Hattawan. And I'm in a butter of 146. I'm here at 10 Worcester Drive. So if you see my cursor, it's this lot that starts in the wetland that feeds Long Lake, and it goes all the way along 146 to Hattawan.
where are you again?
Your
I'm at
cursor's
10
not-
Worcester, 10
I
Worcester
see
Road.
You see?
Here's the cursor. I see it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, now I see it. Okay, so you're there. Okay, yep.
I'm here, yeah. And 146 is here, and they own this wetland as well that feeds
Yeah.
Long Lake. There's a stream that goes under Hattawan and feeds Long Pond.
The cat is,
So did that get approved? That we talked about that at the last meeting.
did what get,
It got approved for A&R. So I'm a rookie, but it's my understanding that's the first step is to split into, I think they split into 4 lots. And I objected to the A&R for one of the lots. This
A&R?
particular lot here,
not
lot
required,
4 in the A&R,
approval not
is
required.
in,
O-A-N-O.
yeah, approval not required. So approval not required is a state approval. And really all they look for is frontage. But they also look for access. And so my objection was to the access piece of it, because my point was, if you have to drive through this little skinny access point and you're immediately in the biomap local wetland buffer that feeds the wetland buffer, then that's not really adequate access. That really wasn't a good objection, as I've learned. the next step will be what is known as a yield plan, I believe. And that's where they say, we believe we can get this many lots legally if we put a road from here to here. I hope you could follow my
Do
cursor.
that again, show it again,
That's right.
from
Yeah,
here.
from
This is
here.
Tehadawon.
Yeah, they're both in Tehadawon.
They want to put like a road.
A loop road.
And that's a hypothetical road. Typically, a road will be too expensive, and they'll go for an open space residential development approach, which if they give up something for conservation, in theory, then they allow for closer development because it benefits the environment and they don't have to build a road. So this part of the land at 146 is flatter, and you can see that it's not in the local wetland buffer. And they have much more frontage here as well. So this wetland here is on our property, and it's very swift moving, and it feeds Long Lake.
Is the dark green a wetland?
I think he's right here.
Yeah, the dark green here is a wetland. That's on our property, just below this steep forest. And you can tell by the contour lines, when they're close together, as you probably know, it indicates steep slopes. So between 20, 25, it alternates. And this is the forest, so there's, a dense tree cover here, keeping the wetlands cool, this wetland that feeds Long Lake. I brought this up to the developer, and I have offered him flatter land here that we own that they can't build in, but they could probably use it for minimum lots calculations, etc., or credits with the town if they put this forest into conservation. Because this is the most sensitive area on their lot.
Can you throw your cursor there as to where you're talking about them throwing it to conservation?
Yeah, this part right here. So this biomap local wetland buffer, this is an overlay in Mass Mapper. So if you pull up the address and you put in the biomap buffers, it will put it right over the forest here. It's about 4 acres.
Breakfast.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wanted to make you folks aware of it because I know you're passionate about the lakes, as am I, and the more people that know about it, the better, because the meetings are going to be coming in the next few months, I feel. And yeah, that's it.
And your concern specifically is what?
Any development in this biomap local wetland buffer is very risky to Long Lake because this wetland here is very swift moving. And there's a forest here that is absorbing all of the things that a development, negative things that a development would bring. It's stopping it from getting into Long Pond.
And where are they proposing houses to go?
When I met with them, they said,
Area.
well, when I met with them, they said, we're thinking about putting density housing in this forest. And I don't think they really understood that it was in the biomap local wetland buffer. The biomap local wetland buffer is not regulatory. Only the wetland buffer is, which is closer down here. But when you combine the steep slopes and the forest cover and the local wetland buffer along with this type of wetland, I don't think the town the Conservation Commission would allow for building here anyway. But I'm still concerned, and I want to make sure that there's awareness that it could happen legally if they convince the town they could develop here versus developing here.
Your position is that any development at all there is ill-advised, is that right?
Correct. In this forest, after living here for 10 years and witnessing sheets of water runoff, which will happen again this spring, and I'll get video of it. Any development in this forest is a very bad idea for Long Pond.
You spoke with the conservation agent, Tim Pearson?
Tim is aware. Yep. I've let Tim know, and I've let Tim know about the potential for a land swap, and that I don't want anything other than this to go into conservation. And the developer is aware, and he said on record that he's considering my proposal to keep everything in the flat part of the property. And that works into the OSRD model anyway. So the OSRD model says, we want 50% of the land in trade or swap for allowing you to build in a more dense way so that you don't have to build a road. That's my layman's explanation. I'm a complete rookie, but I've thrown myself into this just because I'm concerned.
That's essentially what they did at Cooper Farm, right? They said, oh, we'll build high density housing and we'll give you 17 acres for the town. And it was all the wetlands they gave the town.
Yeah, they can't use all wetlands for the calculation. So up here is their wetlands that they own. I think that's 11 acres. And that can't be all they give the town. I believe they have to give dry land as well. Yeah.
Well, because that dark green is essentially, if you look on the actual map, like here's the edge of the lake, right? And this
right here
is all that dark green stuff. Like that's just swamp. It's you can't even ski on it because it's all bushes.
Right.
Yeah.
But is all of that part of 146?
Yes.
It is.
Oh,
It is.
So that's yeah, wow. I hope it doesn't happen. That seems like a bad for the lake.
Okay, there's the satellite image.
Here's a satellite image. So here's the forest that's in the biomap, local wetland buffer. And here's the more clear land here.
Yeah.
And that's where the wetland is that goes through my property and feeds Long Lake.
And that flat land is obviously closer to whatever those houses are on Tehadawon. Are those neighbors putting up protest?
Well, I've organized all the neighbors around the forest, so there's 6 of us so far. The 2 down here, one of them hasn't responded. So I don't think that he's concerned with making this the entrance, because this entrance down here has double or triple the frontage of the little entrance that would go to this forest anyway. So it makes sense, no matter how you look at it, other than the forest being high elevation. So I think this forest is 40 feet higher than the flatland, something like that. And so the developer maybe was thinking views of the lake. I don't know why they were focused on that, but
They assume it's going to be drier. That's why.
yeah, they missed some wetlands delineations. So I have a neighbor here at 6 Worcester who had construction in 2024, and they found a wetland that the developer did not find, which pushes the 100-foot wetland buffer really follows a lot of the border of my property. So when you look at the wetland delineation, they're pushed up into the plateau of the forest anyway. So any septic system would have trouble cleaning the effluent before it daylighted out of this hill anyway. So I think that's another reason why you'd want to stay off steep slopes versus flat land for this development.
And Steve, what's your address?
10 Worcester Road.
Thank you.
And is that flat land that you're talking about also part of 146, or is that somebody else's land?
It is, it's all 146.
And if it wasn't a question of whether it was going to flood, that would be an ideal place to develop, I guess.
Right. I believe so. I think, and I hope the town will agree. The developer seems to be going in that direction. He wasn't at first, and that's why I got involved and called a meeting with them. Because they just, this is a part of Littleton that not many people are aware of, I believe. Because it's been held, this is a Christmas tree farm, for I don't know how long. So it's private, and my land has been owned for decades by private owners. So it's one of those quiet watersheds of Long Pond that no one really knows about.
Yeah.
Steve, what is the developer's next move,
His next move, I believe, would be a yield plan. And the yield plan, as I understand it, will show a road that goes through the entire property from one end to the other. And it would split the property into 8, 6, 10 lots, however many they think they can fit. And that becomes a baseline, I believe, where the town works from there to either cull it down or bring it up based on the OSRD plan, Open Space Residential Development Plan. That would be the final planning stage where they say something like, okay, we're going to stay out of the forest. We're going to put it in conservation. We're going to put the wetland in conservation. We're going to focus here. We don't want to build a road. We want whatever, shared driveways. And that way we'll consolidate the housing where it makes the most sense environmentally. And because we're putting things in the conservation that are sensitive, the towns, I think, work with the developers.
Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah.
So the
Thank you for having this committee. I didn't know about it. Shame on me for not even knowing about it. But thanks for having the meeting and letting me in.
So the A&R was approved at the last planning board meeting to split it into, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 lots, because the wetlands was separate. They didn't talk about the wetlands, so I'm not sure if they're considered part of the same. There were 4 quote unquote buildable lots. I assume
Correct.
that will mean that they're back in front of the planning board to do the open space development. And if they're doing it in individual lots, they're probably limited to, it's probably not a road then, it's probably shared driveways, which I think is limited to like 3 houses, or something smaller. So they're probably gonna come back with each of them. I don't know a time frame on any of it. I'm just guessing what's going on.
So if it's a shared driveway, there can only be 3 houses.
I believe it's a smaller, I think they want to do something smaller, because if they do something smaller also, then they don't have to do affordable units and a couple other things. So my guess is these are going to be similar to, it's the same developer that built what they're calling Strawberry Hill over off of Taylor Street.
ADUs may be a factor as well. So if they get 4 lots, that could be 8 units.
Yeah, well, ADUs are by right, so Yeah.
Yeah.
With the ADU
Well,
affordable.
Accessibility,
Accessory.
That the, in-law
Well,
suite in
Oh,
the
right.
backyard.
That's also coming up with town
Granny
meeting.
unit.
Right,
So does,
which everyone needs these days,
Yeah.
because your kids are staying at home.
That's right.
A&R mean that the planning board doesn't have to do anymore, but
no.
Possibly the
and
conservation
it's basically a way
commission?
of taking your land and dividing it into multiple lots. It's just taking a large lot and making it a bunch.
And
of
that's
smaller
like-
lots.
as long as you do certain things, it's automatic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Frontage, yeah. As long as you have the frontage, they'll give you those lots. So that ended up with 4 lots, excluding the wetland. The next step, they'll propose a road that they'll probably never do, and that will probably yield 6 or 8 lots. That doesn't mean they can build. That just means on paper, they could do it, but it's more stringent because you have to prove that it could support septic systems. And then the third step is the OSRD, where they don't want to build a road because that's $500,000. They want to do shared driveways, and maybe they want to do ADUs, so they get 8 units instead of 4. That'll be the big show.
But the ADUs, you can't stop, if they have approval for 4 units and it will perk for how the extra bedrooms are gonna get the ADUs.
But an ADU is owned by the same owner as the other,
Yes, that's currently the regulation.
yeah, so I mean, it's not, oh, is it a thought that they might?
The state has said that everyone can build an ADU on your property if it meets all the other requirements. The town is updating their ADU bylaw, probably for May town meeting, to be in compliance with the state. There is a question on ownership, whether both sides have to be owned by the same individual or not. The state doesn't say in their regulations. So some towns are saying that you can, some towns are saying you can't, and it's just, it hasn't worked its way through the court. So,
Interesting.
The state rules are more concerned about setback requirements and.
the town gets to say the setback requirements.
Interesting.
So, that's one of the things the ADU it has to update, because an ADU is considered an accessory unit, so it has the same setback requirements as a shed right now, so they wanna make it.
Oh, really?
ADU, yes, so you can build a
If
basic.
you have a separate garage,
So
you
it's
could,
the
you
same.
could have an ADU.
Yeah, it's 10 feet right now, I think is
Wow.
your setback for accessory unit.
I thought it was 5. I thought-
No, it's 10.
I think
Well, if you build an accessory dwelling unit, I heard that it was 5 feet. Regular house is 10.
okay, I thought the regular was 15 and 10, but yeah, it's really close.
Yeah.
So they wanna change that as part of the zoning change in May. But you can't, but if he is approved for 4 houses and it will perk for the extra bedrooms for the accessory,
Mhm.
he's gonna get them. You can't stop them.
Right, right.
So Steve, it sounds like you're somewhat resigned to the fact there's gonna be houses there. But you're just trying to keep them ideally to that flat spot so that it's not encroaching on the wetlands. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. I think development there is unavoidable,
Yeah.
but what we can do is make sure it happens responsibly within the law. ADU, that's something, again, is by right, as has been said. Turning them into condos, individual condos, may also be a loophole they can get through. At this time, I don't know. But I think Littleton's probably thinking about that as well with their bylaws.
Well, given that this is your backyard, it sounds like you've been very measured and reasonable. I'm sure it's a huge change for you guys.
Yeah, you can imagine what it would do to the wetlands and to Long Pond just from living here. You know,
Yeah.
I can always move. I never want to move, but Long Pond can't move. And these wetlands right now are pristine. They're crystal clear. I would almost drink out of them.
Well.
Not a good idea.
You get beaver fever.
You can let your dog drink out of it.
Yeah, we'll test the water after we do our water quality testing in April. We'll let you know if you can
Okay.
drink it.
I will say
Thank
the
you.
Conscom and Conservation Trust is very interested in that wetlands property. Because then it pretty much can complete the loop all the way around
Right,
Long Lake.
That would be amazing.
right.
it's-
Jerry, you were
With
involved
a
in
lot of
that.
boardwalks, mind you, but,
Oh, sure, yeah.
because the property
Correct.
actually does touch Prouty Woods on the other side.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Very narrowly, but
I can confirm.
Correct.
LCT.
If they save the forest and I gift the developer our back acreage, it will complete the connection to Brown Woods and Long Lake.
yeah.
Are you the one that he's trying to work it out with, that he referenced at the planning board?
Yes.
Okay, it's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, so he has to put this in conservation and then he can complete the connection to Brown Woods and Long Lake.
Great to know. Thank you.
Very good.
Cool. Well, thank you for the update, Steve. If there's any support you need, let us know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Very good. Thank you. All right.
Wow.
All right.
Well,
I think we're winding down.
yeah, let's get out of here. It's late.
Can we find another,
Reschedule.
a new,
Right.
new meeting date?
Next meeting,
Yes. We gonna look here. Do we want to go back to a Wednesday or is Thursday okay?
I like Thursdays.
Yeah?
Thursday's all
Just,
right.
just for me.
Thursday works better for Steve.
We don't know when the LLNA annual meeting will be.
No.
Thursdays, you have your Lisa Red conflict, unless that's changed.
Hmm?
You've,
Yeah, Lisa has a conflict on Thursdays.
Oh,
Setback. It says 5 to 10 feet, so it can't be less.
The
than
week
5.
of March 16th is college spring break. Anyone cares? So what are you thinking, John?
We're thinking the 19th might be the LLNA annual meeting.
I don't know. That's spring break for college
Got it.
students that week.
Well,
We haven't planned the Long Lake Neighborhood Association annual meeting, so I don't know when, and Tess is out of town.
right. Well, what if we're looking at the 12th? Possibility.
Wednesdays also works for me.
Yeah,
What will need to, like, what will be on the agenda come a month? Budget set,
good question. We don't have.
Mill Pond Dam.
the dam, like, is that moving? Like, that's their meeting and then,
Well, I'm gonna meet with Nick within.
right, you'll have an update, yeah.
We'll have some news from Nick. I hope to see
you might have news
regarding
with regard to the whole
the budget.
RFP sequencing with.
Yeah.
It'll be a long meeting.
We
Well-
managed to talk.
12th, let's target the 12th. Thursday the 12th,
All right,
and we'll see if we get closer.
all right, March 12th.
Thank you all.
All right.
All right, should we move to adjourn?
I would support that. Anyone? Everyone?
Chuck,
Yeah, where's Chuck? We're gonna do without him.
move we adjourn.
Second.
And is there anyone opposed to adjourning? I think that carries the day. Thank you all very much. Good night.